Or the teacher didn't believe us, and at that point we were like, we're not going in there alone. We're never stepping foot in there without another person.
We're on camera and we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coco here.
And I'm Momo. Okay, so we are here to talk about paranormal activity. I'm so excited. This is the start of a series.
Our first series here on YouTube.
We have a few different ideas, so stick around with us and you could possibly, hopefully, see many cool things. Right?
Yeah.
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 You're not very enthusiastic today.
Well, I gotta do the dark, scary telling.
That's true. I'm the peppy, happy one.
Yeah. Naturally, this isn't like a character.
Nope, this is me.
This is us.
This is us.
Real.
This is me. This is... I don't know how that song goes.
I'm exactly how I'm
supposed to be now. Gonna let the light
shine on me.
Now I know.
Okay, I don't know anymore. So, this is part of an overall series. It's going to be about paranormal activity, but this story itself is going to be broken up into a few different parts because it's really, really long.
Possibly three.
Possibly three. Probably three.
Probably three.
So, we were in high school together, and we did a lot of work in the Darkroom. The class was primarily analog at the beginning of the year, but people had the option to expand into other stuff and Photoshop and junk like that. So, towards a fourth of the way into the semester, we didn't have as many people in the Darkroom. At the beginning of the year, it was normal, nothing weird was going on other than Monica. And
I would just come up behind her and be like, She did the same thing to me though, so it was fair.
Yeah, we would scare each other, hide behind the curtains and jump out and stuff. So, it got to the point where there weren't many people in there anymore.
Continuing,
okay.
We were in the dark room.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't there because I don't skip classes because I was a bit of a...
We didn't get to that part yet.
Two shoes. I thought we were going to there now.
Yeah, we were going there. Yeah, okay. Well,
so we're there.
So, yeah, thank you. Good transitioning skills. We are masters.
Transition!
Whoops. So, I was in there with Bertha and...
The other nickname that we came up with was Malachi.
Malachi, because we don't want to give out people's identities without permission, because we're decent human beings.
Also, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah. So, we had the room was broken up into two different places. There was a spot with all of them larger. It had to be completely dark in there, hence dark room. We had little, amber, I think they were amber lights.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, so we could see a little
really
bit, but the walls were painted black, and it was just very dark in the dark room.
It was basically my soul. Continue.
So, the other room is where we had the chemical set up and our dryers and stuff for the photos. There was a revolving door that we had to go in and out of when the darkroom was in use, and then the main door that we really only used if there was an emergency or multiple people going in to use it. Bertha and Malachi and I were all in the room working on stuff. Malachi was an art aide, so she was in the room helping the teacher, and there was nothing for her to do, so she was working on photography stuff. So Malachi had to go back into the room to help the teacher. And Bertha and I, who were skipping our calculus class, went and were working on the midterm project. And we knew no one else was in there. No one else had been in there for at least half an hour.
It was a very small room.
Very
you could
small.
Easily tell.
Yeah. Whenever the door revolved, it made this really, really loud sound, and it sounded like it was going to fall out of the revolver. It was just, public schools.
I hated it. I hated that revolving door.
And you couldn't open the other door because we locked it from the inside to make sure no one exposed our stuff. Yeah, because it would just ruin everything.
And we'd be like,
yeah, it's a lot of money wasted. So, anyway, it was almost the end of the day, because it was the last period of the day, and there was a few minutes left, so we started cleaning up, and we took all of the chemicals first, and we dumped the chemicals out so everything could dry. And lastly, we went and we packaged up all of our paper and our flashlights and turned off the enlargers and stuff like that. So when her and I went in to turn off the enlargers and put our paper away, it was already cleaned up. So I was like, hey Bertha, thanks for taking care of that for me. And Bertha was just like, oh, I didn't do that, I thought that was you. So we were both just like, so
I'm sorry.
we finished cleaning up, grabbed our stuff, unplugged everything, fixed the lights, yada yada yada, everything left to do, walked out the door and went, hey, Miss Art Teacher. And Miss Art Teacher was like, yeah, what? And
so aggressive.
That's how she was though. She was so aggressive.
She terrified me, but she loved me.
Ugh, she did. She really loved Monica. We went and we asked her, hey, has anybody been in there? Because our stuff was moved around. And she was like, no, nobody's been in there for the last half an hour. The last person in there beside you guys was Malachi. And we're like, well, we didn't hear anybody. She says no one was in there. Our stuff was moved. And she's just like, well, we don't, I don't think anybody actually moved your stuff. I think one of you guys did it and just didn't realize it. It's like, how do you pile all of your stuff up and neatly organize it and not remember? Not realize that you were doing that. Plus we were both...
I've never done that before.
Yeah, I haven't either. A little before that, people started saying they felt like they were being watched and stuff like that, but you're in a dark room, so that's expected, it's normal.
I still did not feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was comfortable being in there alone. And if you went in there alone, you put your headphones in, played loud music, and just didn't pay attention to anything going on. So we, after that happened, we told everybody, and nobody went in there alone except for this one kid who plays a big part in our next story. And the feeling that you were getting watched was getting worse and worse and worse. And other people said that they had stuff moved around or their aperture on the enlarger was changed. And it's easy to bump it, but not to severely change it from one to the other.
It wouldn't
severely, just maybe one stop, but not a bunch.
It wasn't that easy to switch it either.
No.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah, most of them were really old. So the next story happened right in between the final big story that Monica and I experienced together and the last story I had told you.
It scared me.
Yeah, it really did. So...
And I didn't even open my eyes for the entire thing. I was that freaked out.
Were you there for the flashing light?
No.
I didn't think so. I was getting confused for a second.
No, I was there for the big story. Yeah. The actual...
Yeah.
When we had all of them there of our friends.
Bertha, Malachi, and I were all in the room again. Right in between the time frame of the first happening where Bertha and my stuff was moved around and the big one that I'm going to tell you about that had Monica and I. This one was a little more intense and we were 100% sure about the happening, but other people didn't believe us, which was a little ridiculous, I think, but...
Oh, I believed you, and I was like...
Yeah. So...
girl. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So my spot, Monica and my spot was next to each other. She... Yeah. And she, wasn't, like I said, she wasn't there. It was just Bertha, Malachi, and I. And so my spot was all the way in the far back corner, in the darkest spot, because I don't want any light on my photos. And then Malachi and Bertha were next to each other, but on the other end, next to the entrance to the room. Because like I said, there were two different rooms, and this room is back on its own. Malachi was developing photos and chemicals in the other room, and Bertha was working on her stuff in her larger spot, as was I over in the far corner. So Bertha goes to turn around and say something as Malachi is walking in, and then she turns back around, and after she's done moving, there's this huge flash of light engulfing her out of nowhere. It looked just like a hospital light, like how you see in movies and stuff.
When people wake up and it's just
the light comes on all of a sudden. It was like that. It was gone in a second. It wasn't there very long. So Malachi and I both saw it, and we both looked at each other, and we were like, oh, what was that? So we were like, hey, Bertha, where's your phone at? Because she wasn't reacting to this at all. She didn't even notice what was going on. And she was like, oh, it's over here. at the station behind her. So it wasn't her phone light turning on. Plus, you could tell it's a different type of light. And it wasn't either Malika or I's phone. Yeah. And the flashlights we had in there were so tiny. It definitely wasn't
it was probably
that.
like this size and like a little tiny pinprick of a light and then boop.
And it was a brick wall. There were no outlets near her. So we were like, it's the ghost. It's the thing that was fucking with us. It's the ghost. And at this point, Bertha's like, what happened? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. So Malika and I told her, you were just engulfed in a giant ball of light. And she was like, I didn't see anything. And the spaces where the enlargers were a white, like, plasticky surface. So it definitely would have reflected off of it for her to have seen it. But it was all the way around her, and she didn't see it. Just
like Jesus.
Yeah, if I had seen it by myself and Malachi hadn't have experienced it, I would have just thought like something wrong was going in my head. But no, she saw it too, so I know I wasn't just imagining things. So Malachi and I are both sitting here talking about it, explaining to her exactly what happened, and we're freaking out. And Bertha's just like, I want out of here. I need to get out of here. So we hurried up. We put all of our paper away so it was light safe, and then turned the lights on, cleaned up, ran out, told the teacher what happened. And of course, like normal, Miss Art teacher is just like, no. She probably just rubbed up against the wall or something. She didn't rub up against, like,
also, why would rubbing up against the wall create light?
Shock. Like static electricity.
But
it's brick.
Still
it's brick. It's not like a...
Even static electricity.
I know.
It would just be like a...
Yeah, no, it was not like... engulfed her entire body for a few feet in front and behind. So there was really no explanation we could come up with. And at the time, I was seriously into science. Like, for real, science was my life. Science was like majority.
You wanted to be
an astrophysicist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We knew it wasn't anything science related. And there was like no way this light could have just produced itself. And we know we weren't imagining it because both of us, like literally when it happened, we looked right at each other. No hesitation. We both had this horrified look on our face. We were like, what is happening? So, like I said before, the teacher didn't believe us. And at that point, we were like, we're not going in there alone. We're never stepping foot in there without another person. And that was that. We didn't even go anymore. Like, when the teacher was at lunch, we would stay in there sometimes. We were like, no. Like, if there's not, because it was in a different classroom than the art room. We were like, if there's no adults nearby to protect us from this demon spirit ghost, we are not going in there. So, yeah.
I feel like it never felt too demonic in these
that's what I was saying. Like, it didn't seem bad.
It just felt very uncomfortable.
You couldn't even, like, feel a presence.
No.
It was just like a regular old room. And then other times it was very, very strong, but it never felt mean. Like, it was just there. It was just existing. It just, wanted to make pretty photos with you. And, like, the even weirder part was that we had photos we were developing at the time. Like, I had my paper out, and I was, like, developing a photo onto it. And the light would have ruined my exposure on my paper, but it didn't. I developed it the next time we went in perfectly fine.
So, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. We're on a camera, and we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm such a nerd. Hi Mary, you sit down back here. Come here.
We should just like fill this back wall with stuffed animals.
Oh my
and then one day pop out.
Just like hide back here.
Mama, Coco here.
We're here to come and be your friend. I don't know why we became Southerners, but we Southerners now. I got her alcohol. She's 22. Calm down if this ever goes online. I don't do things illegally. I never tried alcohol until my 21st birthday. That's a lie. I tried church wine and champagne at my sister's wedding.